All right, Bob Dvorak, award-winning journalist, ladies and gentlemen, on the AT&T Sports Line. And remember, game time tonight, final preseason game underway, KDK TV2. Did you get out to Coons Market on McKnight Road to get your Roonies? And don't forget, they sell beer here at Sheets in Calcutta. And I was in Cranberry the other day. I saw a man walking out with some Yinglings. So that's good business. And I love pouring on the cheer. But be responsible. And don't forget your fine wine and spirit stores as well for the season. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to get to with the Steelers. Ike Taylor, NFL Network, Joe Hayden, loves the fact this 28-year-old two-time Pro Bowler, even though he's had some injuries, was really cut by the Browns because of the amount of money. And Drew Rosenhaus, his exceptional agent, said, look, we're not taking a cut. So guess what? He's now a member of the Steelers. And with Artie Burns making strides, you got to look to the future being bright for the Steelers secondary if Hayden can stay healthy and return to those Pro Bowl years. And really, let's face it, this kid's only been in the league for a few years, and he got a lot of upside, and that's what everybody thinks, including, you got to believe, as Bob Labriola, the guy behind Steelers.com, said, it's like Mike Tomlin woke up Wednesday and said, it's Christmas. Bob Dvorak, Joe Hayden coming to the Steelers, that's a good thing.
Yes, I think so too, Rob. I know he's had the injury issues the last couple of years. If he can stay healthy, he improves them right away. They've been wanting to play more man-to-man defense. Brady shredded them in last year's game. He gives them that capability right away. It's an addition. He makes this team stronger, and I feel the same way about the tight end they traded for from the 49ers, McDonald. They weren't satisfied with the consistency they were getting at that position. I think he's a good pickup that helps ease the loss of Heath Miller some. So, the Steelers improved themselves this week, and the goal in training camp is to be a better team than you were last year, and I believe they are. Also,
exciting news for the guy who, as Mr. Labriola put it, hardworking, no-nonsense, blue-collar attitude, dedicated and loyal, New Deal through 2020. Great news, I believe, for GM Kevin Colbert and for Steeler fans and the Steelers Nation.
Well, one of the great things about a successful organization is its stability. And with Kevin Colbert and Mike Tomlin there at the top, they certainly have continued that stability. Kevin's done a fantastic job overall with his body of work. I know you can nitpick him here and there and criticize some moves and whatever, but it really keeps the team in place, and I think that bodes well again for the Steelers going down the road.
Bob is a great journalist, and I've often said we in the electric media, well, we would be nowhere without those in the word, such as the print media. Bob Labriola, Steelers.com, you got to check it out. Answered questions, too, from the fans, one of my favorite segments. And really, I spent about 9 hours altogether today filming on the computer. And I got to tell you, whenever I get Steelers.com, it's kind of like a break in the action because it's stuff that I really like to discuss with the guys on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday show with Ted Arnaud and Bob Dvorak and Greg Diolis. And Ted joins us at 12:30, but when the season starts, he'll be joining us at the noon hour, and we'll walk the line picking our winners and losers against the weekly spread. But you look at that big spread on the training table of the offensive line, they got a lot of muscle. Two former first-rounders, David DeCastro, Marquise Pouncey, Villanueva, obviously the New Deal left tackle. Ben sacked 17 times in 509 pass attempts, lowest in his career. Some questions and answers coming in from the fans for Mr. Labriola. But I think, really, they got a great offensive line, and I think this is going to be one of the reasons why their offense is going to be so good this year, Bob Dvorak.
Well, with what they've invested in and how this unit has grown, I agree with those who consider this maybe the best offensive line in the history of the franchise. They've been blessed with some good offensive linemen through the years. Obviously, you don't win 6 Super Bowls without one. But this particular group, I think, stands out above the crowd. And we all know, the importance of the offensive line, and it's as fundamental as the sun coming up in the morning. You can't win without an offensive line. I really like what they did to rebuild it, solidify it, and see it grow.
You mentioned Heath Miller a little while ago, and where he did just so much for this team offensively, blocking and also helping them really have a good running game, especially when it's inside the Heinz red zone, up close and personal on the goal line. So they always really were strong two-point conversions, but why do you think they're not as strong now? Minus Heath Miller, one of the reasons, but why has the two-point conversion not been as successful for the Steelers team in recent years, do you think, Bob?
Well, I think the rest of the league kind of caught up with them. It was they had the surprise factor at first. They were one of the few teams willing to go for it as often as they did, and I think teams started to prepare for that a little bit more. So it's a question of you do something, somebody reacts. You got to do something different, and I think they still have the ability to be successful on this two-point conversion.
Interview a couple years ago, Jack Ham says one good defensive player can really free up the rest of the defense. And you think of what Mel Blount did during his Hall of Fame career, Rod Woodson, and also Troy Polamalu. And one of the guys they look to this year is Ryan Shazier, because he's like Troy Polamalu. He can make it work on the defensive side of the football anywhere on the field. So sometimes freestyling really does work if you have the ability to back it up, right, Bob?
Well, yeah, he has the ability too to play both the run and the pass, and I think that's one of the rare dual combination threats in the NFL. With his size, his speed, his ability to cover, he gives them just a real nice element. And I think with the rookie T.J. Watt on the outside, that they've improved the linebacking core. So you're looking for this defense to make some improvements because it has to be better than it was. And I think they've taken the steps to at least help accomplish that.
Better than Bob, don't forget, Drive On, the name of the book, his time with the 82nd Airborne at Desert Storm. It's wherever good books are sold, Amazon.com, Borders. And if you are a patriot, and we all are, you're going to love that book, especially as we're getting ready for the fall and Veterans Day just around the bend. Bob, always a pleasure. We'll talk to you Sunday on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show.
Good to be with you, Rob.
Good night from Legacy Studios.